Bienvenido. Bienvenido a People's Pod. Semana 15. They're trying to prove something. Not here. Not now. I'm going up. You're going down. The keys to succeed in this frisbee touchdown fantasy. Break the mark with ease and generate some D's. Ooze, gosh, stick, crush. Ooze, gosh, stick, crush.
Hey, Buckaroo!
Howdy doody.
Two very different vibes. I'm in cold, rainy, stormy Santa Barbara, freezing my buns off. I got my hot toddy. And then we got Gall joining us from Miami, the streets of Miami.
That's right. South Florida, baby. Oh, hey, you have Maker's Mark too.
Mhm.
That's fun.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
While you're doing that, so I bought a 6-pack of beer yesterday, just kind of like, because, you want to, oh, I didn't even see this fucking H part of this can. Wow. Okay, so I bought it because there's this little raccoon on the front. And I was like, oh, Brad's really going to appreciate this raccoon. This is what does it say? A dirty blonde. So this is what I saw. And then look what I just found out literally 24 hours after buying this.
Oh.
I guess that's the dirty blonde. Holy shit, that is H. There we go. We are in.
We're in. We're in it. It's official. Week 14. The regular season has ended. Tears
Holy shit.
shed.
What an action-packed weekend we had.
Oh, yeah. You want to tell me about yours first?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I was just vibing off of your football elation and sorrows emotion. But yeah, I can start. Let's see. So last you heard from me, I was with Brad in Santa Barbara. After that, fast forward to last weekend, Friday, had like a half day of work. Then Kurt Dog and I went and played Lake Kachuma with Kioi. Disc golf course. That was fun. We played from like 3 to 5, caught the sunset, driving back down to 154 over like Santa Barbara. So that was super cool. Then later on that night, we went to the garden in the public market with Brad, drank some brew dogs. And then after that, Kurt and I went to Soho to watch that Radio Keys light show that I was talking about on the group meet. That night was crazy because drinking for like hours. Kurt had his little bag of tricks, so he had some stimulants during the evening concert. So much so that Kurt and I left the venue at like 1 a.m. and then I went back to Brad's place and stayed up until 3 a.m. just listening to music, which was, great. Saturday, woke up like a white. I felt terrible. Brad and I met you at Shalhoub and we got some barbecue and that was great. And Brad and I actually walked from Brad's house, which is a little bit past the Arlington on State, all the way to Funk Zone to Shalhoub because I was feeling shitty and I was like, I got to do something. And Brad's been walking every day since his back surgery because he's encouraged to get all those muscles moving. So we walked all the way to Shalhoub. As you saw, I was in a right state. Also, my digestive system was really acting up for whatever reason. So, multiple trips to the bathroom throughout the day, including at Shalhoub. Then Brad and I walked back. I shambled back. I napped from 3:15 to 5:15 on Saturday. Watched the Warriors. And then after that, Brad and I watched Fellowship of the Ring. That was cool to go back and watch one of those. I can't remember the last time that I watched one of the LOTR movies. So that was sweet. Sunday, I played evergreen disc golf in the morning before football. Then watched football with Brad and his buddy Julian. Later on, Kurt came over. Before that, Brad and I walked to Ike's, which is on like Mission and State, get some sandwiches for lunch. And we're like bantering back and forth with the sandwich shop like worker or one of them. And she's like asking us what we want and like how our day's going, what we're up to. And Brad had bought 2 like bottles of squirt because he wanted to make palomas with tequila. And so he was like, oh yeah, we're, gonna bring those back and make palomas with them with tequila. And the girl's like, I'm not a big drinker. We're like, okay. And then she's like, what are you doing with the rest of your day? And Brad's like, oh, you're just gonna watch some football. And she said, that sounds boring. She's like, just like jabbing us. And we just kind of like took it in stride and like then waited forever for our sandwiches to be made. But Brad, like 5 minutes after the fact, was like, I should have said this line, which was basically, would bring my day some more excitement is if you would leave your phone number on my sandwich wrapper. And it's kind of like mic drop. And this is like our vision, right? Like it didn't happen. In reality, we just took our lumps and then waited forever for our sandwiches and then walked back and ate our sandwiches. But in a parallel alternate timeline, Brad drops his line and maybe something fun happens. Maybe not. Probably not. And then Sunday night, we went to the Parade of Lights in the harbor, which are all the boats get all like dressed up in Christmas lights and whatnot, and they boat around. We went to Brophy Bros, had some dinner, and then walked back after that. It's a lot of walking. That was Sunday. Monday, I woke up at 4 a.m. so Brad could drive me to Santa Barbara Airport. So I could catch a 5:20 a.m. flight. Flew from SP to Denver to Fort Lauderdale, which is like a half hour north of Miami. Then took a train from the Fort Lauderdale airport area to as close to my place as possible in downtown Miami. Then grabbed a Lyft from a driver that spoke like almost no English. It's a lot like that down here, which I guess it makes sense, but like I didn't really think about how prevalent it would be, but it's like there's more people speaking Spanish than English, which is interesting and a good precursor to my trip and Brad's to Puerto Vallarta for New Year's. But that's where I am now with Chelsea. We're in a condo in Miami. We're here all week, so this is the next iteration of Where in the World is Calling. Back to you.
That's such a good journey, and a little bit of live podcast magic needs to happen. Your mic is a little bit oversaturated, I think. So maybe unplug, plug it back in, or just don't get excited for the rest of the podcast and speak, moderately. But yeah, that's a great weekend. For me, I also had a great weekend. Saturday, woke up and Friday night got to play video games all night. I beat Horizon Zero Dawn, which was a super fun game. Highly recommend it to the gamers of the world. I was already texting Adam about it. It's always fun to do. Saturday, woke up, went to the beach, coached the Ninos for a couple hours, then played Pickup Ultimate for a couple points because that's how it goes when you're retired and play Beach Ultimate. It's just not nearly as fun when you're sucking wind. But anyways, that was fun too. It's always nice to see the usual faces, and Marcel was out there, so that was cool.
Yucking it up.
Left that. Great excuse to go to Shaloub's with you and Sones. The Buckaroos for lunch, tri-tip and beers. What's there? What's better than that, right? I also then we like made those maybe plans, like maybe we'll watch the Warriors play later tonight, and I was fully planning on doing that. I had a couple errands I had to do beforehand. Got home, took a shower, took a nap, woke up 5 o'clock, right? It's just like F, loved it, but also, there goes the plans, right? Because me and
it was chili time.
It was chili time, yeah. And so we cooked 10 pounds of chili. That was awesome. a lot of prep work, and then you just let it simmer for hours, which it's kind of brutal because like you get hungry while you're cooking these things, and then the smell takes over the house and you're still hungry, and you don't want to snack on anything because you got this great meal coming, and then the cornbread's out and it's ready, but then we're like, oh my God. Anyways, yeah, that turned out wonderfully. And we took a bunch of that to the new parents, where we got to meet baby Kaya, and I cried 3 times. It's the first munchkin of the family of my adulthood. So that was great. And she's just like, just a little bundle of, I don't know, just this little alien thing, right? Like, so fun. And she was, I guess, the most awake that she had been in her life yet, right? So she was like eyes open and like looking at us, like you kind of like trying to figure out if she understands anything, or what she's processing, what she's looking at. Yeah. So that was super fun, and got to just drink, and we hosted them at their house. So we bought pizzas for lunch, and my parents ended up coming over, and Caitlin ended up coming over. So it's like a family gathering, just because baby Kaya and football Sunday. So that was a really, really fun day. A little, it made losing my playoffs hopes and dreams a little bit more bearable. But yeah, that was it. We set up the Christmas tree. That was fun.
That one behind you?
Yeah, this one. No, ours has way less ornaments. Since it's our first tree, we don't I haven't gone home yet to collect all my childhood ornaments. And so it's like the beginning of our collection. And yeah, we have 2 and a 4-pack from Ross. Classic. So 6 total with 2 strings of lights. It's remarkable. I'm in love. The season is here.
Big win for the Niners too on Sunday.
Dude, that was a crazy game. I expected us to lose because like
Me
our
too.
starting cornerbacks were both injured, and then our replacement cornerback got injured. So we were starting our 3rd string rookie cornerback against Jamar Chase. And I was just like, he's going to catch 4 60-yard bombs, and that's it. But luckily he only caught 1, and we won. So that was cool. Apparently we can beat other teams, but can't like beat a Kyler-less fucking Cardinals or the stupid bottom feeder Seahawks. It doesn't make a lick of sense. But yeah, anyways.
Those divisional games.
Yeah, they're super fun. Which brings us into, I guess, our atonement section.
Atonement.
This hot toddy is really doing it for me. It's still raining outside, so I've got like the ambiance of that, and it's probably 58 degrees in my house, so it's just warming the soul up.
I also have some makers. I ran to the liquor store around the corner, got the tiniest bottle I could find. It's still 375 milliliters, so we'll see if I get through this in a week. Actually, I'm forced to, as we're flying next week. What are you atoning for?
This is for a past debt to Sones, because I said he'd limp into a victory. And then last week's pod, he chose me to help him get a first round bye, and I failed in that. You guys said that me and Bill was a matchup of the week, and it really wasn't. And so I'm atoning for my dumpster fire of a team that should have been good. It was the chosen one.
Everyone's team is the chosen one until they're not.
Yeah. So that's what this is for. Cheers.
Cheers. Mine is not so much of an atonement as a debt repayment. At Stu's wedding, if you recall, I made a bet with O'Malley for end of season finish, and with him getting secured no lower than 6th and me can be no higher than 7th, he has won the bet. So O'Malley, it's to you. I'm glad. Well, actually, I finished 9th, so really not that close to the regular season standings, but it was fun there for a while. So cheers.
Dude, it turns out this is more than a shot. I took it and it just kept coming and just like a freaking, wow, never mind. Not going to say that. Yes, I will.
I'm gonna come.
Like a college lad, just kept coming and coming and coming. All right, anyways.
The class for his studies, of course.
Oh my gosh, okay. I wrote this down on a piece of paper. I'm going to grab it real quick.
While he's doing that, we can catch some baller sunset behind me. Dude, look at this nice sunset going on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you feel like you're in just some sort of fantasy film or series right now, living in like a big city after Santa Barbara for so many years?
It honestly, it feels a little bit like GTA.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like first of all, it's pretty compact. The streets are kind of like narrow. There's still like car traffic, but tons of foot traffic and just like buildings everywhere. Haven't even been to the water yet. Apparently, it's like a short walk away.
Very cool.
But and like everyone is dressed like crazily, like just the whole gamut of people like looking like me, right? Tank, shorts, not trying. Then you got dudes who are wearing this look, but they are trying, like muscle guys. Then you got like their counterparts in females, right? So you got like the Lulu pants and like the crop top, and like that's it, like the fitness girls. And then you got people like dressed to the nines, like walking down like South Miami Avenue is like right there, going to dinner. And this is like you see all that on the same street corner. So it's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. And then I imagine there's like also the flamboyant side as well, and lots of colors and suits and crazy
Not
things.
a ton on the people. The buildings are a little bit like crazy colored, but I haven't seen like that's like you're thinking like the bright like pastels and whatnot. Haven't seen much of that in dress. A lot. Maybe this is not like the right like district to see that in. We'll report back.
Yeah, cool. You definitely need to eat some Cubanos for me, please. And pastor tacos. Oh,
Last night I had 2 pastor tacos with diced pineapple, of course, and this kind of like spicy salsa on top. So good with a strawberry margarita with sugar on the rim, of course.
dude. All right. Remember the feelings that you had there when you go to Sayulita. Puerto Vallarta. Okay. Back into this segment. So I always feel like I'm on the cusp of playoffs. Like every year, I just have this feeling in my gut. The same way that I feel like I just whoop Adam's ass in rivalry week, which turned out to be wrong. Turns out, but I don't know. Anyways, I decided to go and do a deep dive to see if there was any validity to this. And it's true. Going all the way back to 2014, I was in consolation bye bracket every single time except for 2. So what is that? 8 years, 7 years of this garbage. It's just so brutal. Anyways, 2017 was my Sacko year, which was a really cool year, notably because there was a 5-way tie at 6 and 7. And that's how the playoffs were determined by point differential that year. So very similar to this year with the 7 and 7.
That is fun.
Yeah. And then 2015 was my chosen year when Peebly upset me in the finals. Actually had a first round bye in the good bracket. But yeah, 2021, bye. 2020, bye. 2019, beer bracket bye. 2018, beer bracket bye. 2016, beer bracket bye. 2014, beer bracket bye. It's fucked up. I'm like just a perennial, I need to hit the weight room. I don't know what it is to get me that one extra game. But man, I'm always on the cusp.
Dang, yeah, that is really frustrating for you.
Very frustrating for me, yeah. And it leads into the second segment that I've got written down, and it's just how much small things matter downstream, right?
Yeah.
Peebly was talking junk about his like 0.2 point loss earlier in the season, right? If he gets that win, he's in the playoffs. for me, I lost to Evan by 0.5 early when it was a number 1 versus number 2. And Nick Folk had multiple missed PATs and field goals in that game. That gets me in the playoffs. In my devastating loss to Adam last week, DK Metcalf got tackled on the half-yard line. That's a 12-point swing, and all of a sudden I win the matchup, right? Just like these little things that have such major ripple effects. Yeah, it's crazy.
The randomness.
The randomness of it, yeah. And I'm sure that we all have these moments, except for maybe like, I don't know, those a-holes that are scoring 150 points every week.
Smuggernauts, as O'Malley coined them.
The Smuggernauts, that's a phenomenal term.
I wanted to piggyback on your deep dive about how you're always getting the first round beer bracket bye. So tangentially related, I've been tracking like all-time average finish. Has never won myself. It's one of the things I'm trying to hang my hat on, sadly. So because we are now all split into, the beer bracket and the champ bracket, we can figure out if most people will either increase or decrease their average all-time finish. So going through them from best finish all-time to worst finish all-time, we have Bill at 4.125, unknown if he'll increase or decrease that. We have Pebbles at 4.375 and myself at 4.75. Both of us will decrease, our average all-time finish. Stu at 6.125, unknown. Max and Bacon then follow at 6.375 and 6.625. Both of them will be decreasing their average all-time finish. Brad 6.75, unknown. Scott actually will be increasing his all-time finish. His all-time average is 7 right now, and he's top 6. So congratulations, Scott. You'll be increasing your all-time finish. Adam 7.625. He actually is unknown right now, although I did have it as a decrease, but he still is eligible to get 7th place, which would then increase that number for him. So here's hoping. Actually, here's not hoping because I'm right now at 6 buckets. Yeah, but right now, unknown. O'Malley and Evan both will increase their average all-time finish because right now they are god-awful at 8 and 8.125. Both being in the playoffs, they will increase, and then that leaves the last person at 8.125, and you are unknown. You can still increase your average all-time finish if you get 7th or
8th. And I won't. So let's just not. This is.
I didn't want to go that far into your deep dive, but I was like, of all those years you just mentioned, how many did you actually finish 7th? And the answer is once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always get smug too because I'm like, I should be in the playoffs. I'm gonna win this consolation bracket, and then can't. And so, like, I think we had a bet last year or 2 years ago over that shit.
Yep.
At one point, I changed my team name to Consolation Champs.
Yes.
And then had to change it again to Consolation Chumps after I lost. Stupid.
Switching gears now. We had one submission for listener questions. Apologies to everyone who didn't actually throw it out there. But Scott, as we know, his engagement has been an all-time high, or maybe my recency bias is all-time high. But after Monday night, Scott's just like blowing me up. This was Sunday night. So actually Sunday night, Scott's blowing me up. And I'm like trying to sleep because I have a very early morning. So Scott's like triple texting himself. So Scott, apologies, I didn't get back to you. I was trying to get some Z's for my early morning. But anyway, Scott's question was, historically, which team that made the playoffs ranked lowest prior to the results of the last week of the regular season? we were talking about, we had all those people who were eligible to advance to the playoffs. Scott was 8th, right? And now he's 4th, actually. So, like, the question was, how low was someone before they made the playoffs? Well, Scott did his own research, and the answer was 8th. So Scott has tied the all-time low for this question. Bacon did it back in 2016, and Pebbles did it in 2017.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I have to imagine he went and like calculated each. It's very difficult to look at the standings because I did it in my own deep dive. But yeah, wow. So he went and calculated each season's records year by year. That's got to be a cool
I'm
spread.
not 100% what or how he's like gathering this information, but he's got to have it all downloaded somehow.
Yeah.
Scott, share your black magic secrets with us because we're doing deep dive on the regular. Yeah, like, I mean, he emailed me this giant like graph of stuff. It's like, there's no way he did this all by hand every week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Give the content to the content creators, huh? That's fun. 8th place to 4th is a huge jump. I would have loved to just stayed at 5th place personally.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah. All right.
Nick Folk should have made a number of those kicks. Although Nick Folk was fucking amazing. So it definitely sucks he lost by half a point, but he's paid off so huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things, you know. Do you blame your best player for failing to score an extra point? Yes. Of course. Because that's an easy out. I should have just played Brian Edwards over Terry McLaurin, and then I would have won easily.
Every expert would have told you to do that. Come on.
Yeah, that's clear mismanagement. And that's why I'm not in the playoffs this year.
Next section. This one is kind of a beaten dead horse, but we finished a regular season of Pickums. Adam is the champion. Bacon actually got pretty damn close percentage-wise. Adam won with a 0.595 percentage. Bacon was eliminated last week for forgetting to submit his picks. He needed to submit 6 of 6 picks for the last 6 weeks or whatever. Didn't do it last week and he forgot. He did this most recent week, went 4-2, and his percentage was a 0.593. So he lost by 0.002 percentage points.
Wow. That's awesome.
Everybody else lost.
Wow.
What I pose to everyone listening is, that's done. Well, 2 questions. One, how much are we all Venmoing Adam, or are we just gifting it to Adam at the draft weekend, so he doesn't have to buy it himself, / we can all enjoy it? And then 2, should we run it back for a playoff pick'em challenge with a lower stakes?
That's pretty funny. There's already so much booze during draft weekend. I feel like adding bougie booze to the weekend is just unnecessary, you know.
So then I guess we would need to have one person collect the money and then have alcohol delivered to Adam, or maybe a Bay Area bro can hand deliver it.
Yeah,
to Adam. Maybe that's the easiest.
That's the move. I nominate O'Malley.
He's probably the least likely to see him.
We can make Stu do it, but are we convinced Stu is capable?
It's here's a 3/4 bottle of nice whiskey. And $30. Here you go.
And actually, you can pick it up from my house.
And you want to come over and hang out, spend the night?
We can play villainous. Amber will just beat our asses.
She will beat our asses. Anyone's asses. But yeah, what do you think about the playoff pick'em challenge? Or do you think the ship has sailed?
I think the ship has sailed, personally. But I got my picks in because we're podcasters and that's what we do.
Got to pick. Okay. Well, I know
Right.
Adam mentioned doing something for stakes for all those of us in the loser bracket. So maybe we can get enough people to try and buy into a playoff pick'em.
We could, yeah. Or an alternative like consolation bracket, survivor fantasy situation. We did that 1 year.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a league outside of a league, but only the consolation bros are allowed in.
You mean like literal NFL survivor? But for the last few weeks or what?
So basically it's you set your roster based on, you have a budget, right? It's kind of like DFS, but you pick your team for the entirety of the playoffs. So you have to weigh
Interesting.
teams that you think are going to go further and pick those players. Yeah, it's an interesting.
This must have been a year I made the playoffs and got fourth.
It's something, I'm a degenerate gambler. Of course I'm in. I'm down for a league pick'em playoffs for sure. I'm in for this survivor idea on the side. I'm down for one-on-one bets. You know me. I'm in. I never saw a bet I didn't like.
Speaking of one-on-one bets, how you feeling about Mr. Brown versus Anderson?
Brown versus Anderson. I think you put an addendum into this bet that should save me from this bet. However,
the addendum is so injuries do not count, right? So like games missed because of injury don't count.
Okay, so like all those goose egg weeks that Robbie Anderson had were the same time that AB had his sprained ankle.
Right, I would have to go back and do like the podcast math, and I'm sure Robbie Anderson had goose egg weeks where he was active. Actually, I don't know. I was thinking today how much of a dumbass Antonio Brown is. As I was like putting this into the group me, but I didn't realize he has had that ankle thing for like a month or more.
Forever. Basically, as soon as it's like week 6, as soon as I traded him to Scott.
This is making me realize that we're going to have to do a deep dive on this bet after the season's over with to figure out which weeks were missed because of legit injury and which weeks were because of a fake vaccination card or whatever.
It's probably smarter to do it sooner than later while it still says sus next to his name.
Yeah, quick Google search. Why did Antonio Brown miss this week?
True. All right. Next segment. What is the next?
We're in the review. Yeah, we're now last week review. I want to quickly revisit the section that Brad and I did because we made picks and projected how we saw the playoffs going. So to review what did happen in terms of standings, then we can quickly dive into the matchups. But Evan and Bill get the first 2 seeds at 10-4 and the first round buys. Brad, the only 9-win team, is third. Scott jumps from 8th to 4th. We talked about. Stu and O'Malley take the last 2 playoff spots, 7-7. So Evan, Bill, Brad, Scott, Stu, O'Malley. My projections for the playoffs were Evan, Bill, Brad, Stu, O'Malley, Scott. So I got the order of operations incorrect as far as the 6 were concerned. At least actually the bottom 3. But the 6 that I had projected did make it. And actually there's Weaver and Pebs right on the outside. Is that the same seating as you guys have? Yeah, it literally is the same seating. So Stu, oh, let me look at this. Stu O'Malley. So literally my only incorrection was Scott vaulting over Stu and O'Malley for the 4th. So that's kind of fun.
Very good.
Brad went Evan, Brad, Bill, Stu, Weaver, O'Malley. And Brad chose with his heart, not his head, last week. And he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct playoff people. Of course, Scott's in there, Weaver's out of there, and then the seating of which also is a little questionable.
Oof.
Bill pointed out in the group meet that none of the 7 and 6 teams won.
Yeah.
Really, everybody was playing for their playoff lives, and none of them won. And and I put it in the group, which I thought was hilarious, because we've been saying all year that you needed 8 wins to get into the playoffs. Nobody finished with 8 wins.
That's
pretty
really funny. Yeah. The announcer's curse. And
yeah.
Credit to Pebs and O'Malley's. Their teams really tried. 142 and 135 are respectable efforts. They just found themselves up against, teams like the perennial powerhouses of 10th place Bacon. And
Bacon's been on a tear. That's why I said on Sunday, man, seeding matters. I don't want to play him in the first round of the Sacko bracket.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Poor Pebbles, though. Yeah, he literally lost by a little over 2 points. And God, I was hanging out with Brad all week, right? And he's just like, yeah, man, no lead is safe. I got Kupp and Stafford on Monday night.
The chosen stack. Damn it.
Going through them quickly, both Brad and I picked Evan to beat me, and I won. Both Brad and I picked Brad to beat Pebbles, which he did. We both picked, well, actually, no, Brad picked Bacon, I picked O'Malley, and Bacon was victorious over O'Malley. Again, it might have been a Brad's heart over head pick, but Bacon did one, and we just said he balled out. Max beat Lamar Jackson and Stu. Actually, Lamar Jackson probably beats Stu with exiting early with less than 2 points. It's a bummer in that matchup. We both had picked Stu. Bill beat you. Bummer. Brad picked you, and I had picked Bill. And then Scott beat Adam, and we both picked him to do so. And vaulting himself from 8th to 4th.
Just devastating. It's so fun. Actually, this season was another great. I think last year is when I really tried to start disconnecting my emotions from fantasy and just trying to enjoy it. And this season, my team was off to such an incredible start that it brought me back into being emotional about it.
This is why you care so much.
Yeah. I got a taste of what it was like to be good at fantasy. And then started wheeling and dealing. Russell got hurt, the King, Henry got hurt, and it's just I was trying to temper my expectations when Gus went down and Irv Smith, was injured before I could even try to start him, and just all of these things. I don't know. It's an emotional roller coaster, and I love fantasy because it gives you something to cheer for or against in every game. It gives you a tangible cheering fodder in every single game. I don't care if you're watching the fucking Browns versus Giants. I don't want to watch that game except for it's Kadarius Toney's breakout night, and he's doing something incredible. And Adam started him, and that kind of stuff is what I love fantasy for. So this is another good exercise in tempering the emotions and just trying to use it for enjoyment and not emotional depression.
It was really nice being with Brad the past 2 Sundays to be able to commit to watching football. And even this past weekend, I beat Evan, our game was the only one that had no implications whatsoever. And I still cared,
Yeah. I have an interesting dilemma now because I have a player on COVID and I have an extra kicker because I didn't want to drop Folk. And it's been really annoying actually having Henry and with the potential of him coming back for the end of the season. I've had to carry that burden in my IR slot all season long.
Yep.
And last year, Kittle got hurt. He was supposed to be done for the season, so I dropped him. And he came back for the fantasy playoffs, and Stu picked him up and played him, and I felt so terrible. And so now I have the same fucking situation with Henry this year, and it's just been a dead spot on my roster all season long. And so now, like, I still want to try to win the consolation bracket, but like, how much? You know, like, do I?
They're planning to increase your all-time finish. You got stakes.
I gotta better myself. I can't be the worst. I'm currently the Sacko all time, right? According to my all-time.
Yes. Well, you and I think Evan is the other guy. Yeah, you and Evan are tied, but now Evan is, guaranteed top 4 spot. So he'll be increasing very shortly.
I'm amazed that I'm ranked lower than the 2-time Sacko champion.
O'Malley, the 3-time Sacko champion.
Yeah. Jeez.
At least you're not eligible for the Sacko this year, Buckaroo. So, all right, I did a little bit of a deep dive for this now preview. Apologies to all you who don't have a game this weekend. Oh, you're refilling. Yep, go for it. Both Evan and Bill get the smug bye, well-deserved smug bye, and Weaver and Pebbles get the sad face bye. Their seasons literally now mean nothing beyond pride and, like we just mentioned, all-time average finish. But what I did is I wanted to go and look into the all-time rankings. I guess it's not really rankings, the all-time matchups between each one of these 4 pairs that are playing this week. And see how they did, how they each stack up. So the first awesome thing that I found, and this is amazing, is that these 4 matchups, they were. Do you hear that? Do you get the honk in the background? Yeah. I'm working here. So these 4 matchups, they were all rivals. In the from 2015 to 2019, so those 5 years that we had the same rivals, each one of these 4 matchups was a rival pair.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's awesome because it basically doubles the amount of games you have to pull from to see who has the advantage, right, all time. So first starting with Brad and O'Mal's in the champ bracket. This actually is also pretty interesting. They are exactly 7-7 all time, 500 split.
How fun.
The past 2 years, they've only played once, and O'Malley has won both times, including this season. So he's got the recent success. Next, for Stu and Scott, this is a rivalry that we all love. Special place in my heart. Scott holds the advantage 8-6 in this one. 8-6, and he won the only matchup they had this year. Although Stu won their only matchup in 2020.
This is some good content. That's exciting. Oh, this is like Dodgers versus Giants.
I know it is pretty cool. And so it took some time to gather this information today. Before that, I had done similar things in the past. I was clicking through all my tabs and all my spreadsheets of these data I've been keeping for years, but nothing like this specific I took. I had all-time playoff results. That was the closest thing, as between all the 12 teams. Anyway, in the Sacko Ship, so these 2 matchups have some bearing as to potentially a new Sacko winner this year. Myself and Max are playing. Myself and Max played last year in this exact spot, literally the exact spot we were in. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even look at the playoffs. This is only regular season numbers that I've done. Mm-hmm. So this is a big asterisk on this data. Anyway, regular season wins. I have a 10-5 advantage on Max. And I won our only matchup this year. And I won the 2 matches we had last year in the regular season. And now that we're a little bonus action, we met in this spot last year, and I won that one too. So I've won the last 4 games against Max. So that makes me a little bit nervous.
And it's like all of our fathers would say, Max is due. He's due for a hit. He's due for a win. But it does seem like you are the Cal Berkeley to Max's Black Tide.
Dude, all fucking year we've been talking about waiting for Allen, Diggs, and Hill to drop 90, and they haven't done it yet. So it's something that could happen. Anyway.
Turns out the combination of QB wide receivers is actually Stafford, Kupp, Jefferson that I should have made that claim about. Who knew?
Jefferson was on my squad for a hot minute, and then I kicked him to the curb, and he started producing for Pecco. Of course.
What? No, Justin Jefferson?
Oh, I think it was Van Jefferson. You
No.
said Stafford, Kupp, and Jefferson.
Oh,
you can see where my head went.
Sorry, I pivoted teams from Max's team to Brad's team. It seems like they have been able to get to over 90 points at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, everyone has the I wish I drafted fill in the blank dude. I wish I would have taken Justin Jefferson in the second instead of Hopkins. He wasn't someone who was even on my radar at that time, and like he has exploded.
I remember talking junk on the draft recap of just like you chose Saquon Barkley. You could have like been back at like the 10th pick overall, gotten Saquon, and then had Hopkins or any other number like Hopkins, Ridley. Who else went before him? I don't know. That was like my logic of like better ranked receivers. And, turns out hindsight is 2020. Nobody knows dick about how a player is just going to go missing for a season for their mental health or anything like that. So
this is a sideways tangent, but Brad has been making the audacious claim that Cooper Kupp is going to be a top 5 pick next year, little top 5. So my question to you is, where do you see him being taken? What round, what pick?
He's a second round pick, I think. He's in the same category as Ridley, Metcalf were this season. CD Lamb, like he's probably mid second round, I would say. Because like he's like competing with, I don't know, Jerry Rice numbers, right? Like that was a historic season. That's regression 101, right? Like that's not a sustainable thing unless your name is Jerry Rice, in which case, okay. And I don't think the Cooper Kupp is Jerry Rice, but this is why.
Even with the digression, though, it's going to be insane.
Yeah. He's putting up numbers that are just out of control. But it's also like, it doesn't make any sense. Like the addition of Odell should bring those numbers down, right? Like Robert Woods getting hurt, I guess that helps him in a certain regard, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are these things? How has it been sustainable? It doesn't make any sense. It's really cool.
Anyway, last matchup. Sorry, Buckaroos. The other half of the Sacko contenders, Adam and Bacon. Again, rivals between 2015 2019. Bacon has the all-time advantage 9-6, and Bacon has won the last 4 regular season matchups.
Wow. So the historical heavyweights are also the current Bush holding leaders.
That's right. Yeah. Food for thought, huh? But with that, why don't we get into these freaking games? I've been talking for a while. So you want to start us off? Should we start with the Sacko Ship and then move to the champ?
Yeah, the Sacko Ship. Let's go with Bako versus Dear Godwin. Make me a bird so I can fly far, far away from this Sacko. Both of these teams have decimated receiving cores. It's remarkable. Calvin Ridley, nobody saw that coming. Tough. AJ Brown has been worthless. Yeah, AJ Brown, another of those second round receivers. Van Jefferson and MVS have been booming more than busting somehow. It's a little too risky for my taste, and it's been working for Bacon. He's like, he might be in the money this season from all of his money winning weeks, or he's either been like one or two. So I think maybe he's been stolen. A couple $20 bills have been stolen out of his grasp, but
he definitely has given some biggest blowouts.
Yeah, some biggest blowies. Hey,
Bacon, you dog.
Yeah. So this one was actually really tough for me. I actually did an initial look. My gut was like, oh, I don't like Bacon's team. I'm going Adam's team. And then I looked at Adam's team and I was just like, and I looked back at Bacon's team. I looked at Fournette and Kamara, and they're literally matchup proof. Fournette scored 22 against Buffalo's defense, which is like one of the best run defenses in the game right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was originally my logic in that Kamara and Fournette are playing each other, and both defenses are really good against the run. But Zeke has really been struggling, and I don't even know how to pronounce some of Adam's receivers' names. I'm not going to try. And so for that reason, I'm picking Bacon.
So my picks are coming in live. I've done zero research on them beyond just my general feeling and podcasting all year. I agree with all your points. It seems like Adam's team is a little more beat up.
Can you hear the storm? Can you hear the storm outside?
No, but that's fun. I don't know why I'm going like this.
Just one of those micro bursts came through and just.
Oh wow. Anyway, Adam's team super beat up. Yeah, like you said, he's starting receivers we can't pronounce. The whole Ridley situation, and even the Kadarius Toney situation is a bummer too. When Adam and I made our trade, I was really trying to get Toney instead of D'Ernest Johnson. I was like, how about you send me Gordon and Toney? And he wouldn't do it because he was like, I know as soon as I trade him, he's going to blow up. And that was, week 8. And, since then, he's missed 3 games. He had a bye on top of that. I think actually in one of the games he did play against the Raiders, he got injured after one catch. So it's been a bummer season for Toney and therefore Mr. Dear Godwin. I think his team is to set up more for success. Even looking at the points per week, Adam's team is clocking in at under 196.49 for the season, where Bacon's at 122.28. It's a lot. Bacon's team, Herbert is going to slang it. It's going to be a high-scoring affair, I believe. Jefferson is touchdowns in 3 straight weeks. Scantling, I think, is a little bit dicey, but on Bacon's bench, he's got AJ Green against Detroit, who just put up over 100 receiving yards, or Devontae Parker against the Jets.
He's got options.
He's got a lot of options. Thielen even has a double-digit push, although I don't know if he's going to be playing or not. He's had some time to heal, but I think Bacon takes it. Fournette has been a huge, crazy gem for Bacon. I think that continues, sending Adam to defend his Sacko title.
Yeah. Oh man, tale of a different story. I was definitely a loser of Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting hurt because Bacon had this stable of running backs. And so I was prepared to ship off one of my better receivers for Fournette. he was a target. I thought that I could get him. You know, he didn't have the draft capital that Clyde Edwards-Helaire Kamara had, and he was doing well. He put up that 27-point game in week 6, which is right when like the Henry thing happened. And so, you know, I was like, oh, all right, the asking price is going to be a little higher. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt week 6 as well. And so it was just like, oh, fuck. Like, now I really can't pry him away. And I thought about trying to trade for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Not that this podcast is about me, but it's just kind of fun to like reflect on these moments in the league.
Yeah, the what ifs.
If Clyde Edwards-Helaire hadn't got hurt, I would have really pushed Bacon to try to get Fournette off of his team, and that would have significantly saved my season. He's a top 5 running back. That would have saved the season for sure.
Who are you trying to ship over?
Basically, all of my receivers were available except for DK. Yeah, and that might have been before I shipped off Antonio Brown, but I don't think so. I think I did that week 5 for week 6. So yeah. Anyways, that's
Both
fun.
Taking Bacon.
Fun down memory lane.
Next matchup, we got another set of classic rivals, Max and Gall. What say you, Mr. Weaver?
This is a fun matchup because I think both of your teams are better than your station, which is
F.
brutal. Yeah. F. This is like classic fantasy football in a nutshell. Max's team this season is what Evans was last year, where I gave him the announcer's curse of loving his team and it just not being able to get it together. I think you're in a little bit of trouble here. I don't see a reason for Hopkins to like push through whatever injury. Like he's getting his MRI on his leg now against the Lions. Like there's no reason for him to play in this game. Like there's no reason for him to play at all. Like they basically have the first seed in the NFC West locked in. So that's silly if he plays. Rodgers and his toe thing, you know, he's probably going to play through it. I don't know. It's weird. It's a rainy day though. So I foresee under performances there. Nick Chubb should have a redemption story, but apparently half of the Browns have COVID. So like maybe he doesn't have a starting O-line to run behind and that might fuck him. I think you get the vibe of where I'm going with this. I am going to pick Max's team, even though like on paper, I like your running backs more. Devin Singletary, crapshoot, Sonny Michel, really depends on Dog being out. But I think that he's going to win.
Well, I'm taking myself.
Good.
Because you got to bet on yourself. Yeah, things are a little dicey. I mean, my team is both of these teams, of course, underperformed to expectations. Rodgers has scored no less than 26 points since he like broke his toe, so I'm not really worried about him. The Hopkins thing is definitely a little concerning. He hasn't been the player that I drafted him for, obviously. But if he plays, he could be like the 5 targets, 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns type line. Like I can see it going either way, right? Where it's like, yeah, we got 4 or 5 receivers, let's just shut him down. Or it's like he's going to play half of the snaps, he's going to play on the end zone. Like, anything can happen with the Cardinals. And I think there's also kind of a chip on his shoulder. Like he hasn't played like all year, and he's like, you know, self-proclaimed and like league-wide proclaimed like top receiver. Like I think he wants to play, right? So like that's just like bias, like manager like speak, but I feel like he wants to play. But if he doesn't, I feel like I have some options. Waivers obviously is happening tonight. There's gonna be some action. Um, but in a pickle, I can throw out St. Brown on the Lions, who's had 12 targets in the last few games. So I don't think absolutely. I'm honestly more concerned about Marquise Brown and the Ravens' terrible offense. I am Hopkins or even St. Brown on the Lions. Yeah, I mean, Max, obviously with Allen, Diggs, and Hill are scary. It's going to be a high-scoring game against the Clippers and the Chiefs. So, like, Butker, Hill can just going to have opportunity. But Allen Robinson, I'll go for it.
One thing that I skipped over was the Josh Allen injury. He was in a walking boot on Sunday. So that could loom large here.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Yahoo's saying that even if he can't run, he's still going to destroy the Panthers. But maybe he doesn't even play. So, yeah, that would be a huge boon for me. But like I was going to say, Allen Robinson's been terrible. Singletary is in a 3 or 4 headed timeshare if you count Josh Allen as a running back. Dog and Sonny Michel. Like, Robbie Anderson had his best game for Max last season, which is fucking funny because he's been on and off my roster all year. But I don't think we're going to see another 17-point performance out of him. So, I don't know. I think it's one of the toss-up, but I'm going to go with myself.
Yeah, I think this will be a fun matchup to watch.
2 people who have never won the Sacko in this one.
Oh, that's a damn shame. We would love to see that you both in the Sacko Ship. Damn it.
Oh, wait. Oh, Bacon's won it, right? So both Bacon and Adam have won it before? Yeah, there's Bacon. Yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And
how fun.
Truthfully, like if I want Bacon to win also because Adam is significantly better about the Sacko shot. Even when Bacon lived with us, he was not doing it. And it made me mad. I was like, come on, you can cheat. I won't telling you. Just do coffee. But no.
I love the Adam pose. It's like
yeah.
Next matchup.
Well, was a great cinematographer.
Oh yeah, I can't. I don't think I can ask Chelsea. Hey, take a video of me taking a shot every Sunday for the next 3 months.
Yeah. Get some engagement out of your partner. It's good. Next matchup, I think we go with the more boring one of Stu and Scott. This one seems very cut and dry to me because Stu's team is just okay. I got to read this. Stu had so much early season momentum with gaining speed, going downhill fast. So fast, in fact, that he got the speed wobbles, fell down, and rolled his way into the playoffs. That's his Yahoo right there. Yeah. Stu's team is hurting. He's on a 4-game losing streak and yet made it into the playoffs. I think that there are a lot of like really funky injuries / COVID implications in this matchup. Just going down the list, James Conner injured at the end of regulation. Monday night, Jarvis, Dog, Ingram are all on the COVID list. Higbee randomly with the false positive. That really blows. Lamar Jackson got hurt. So like there's a lot that could happen. These rosters that we're looking at right now are very likely not the rosters that we see on game day. In addition to that, we have 2 like fun, same team situations, Jamar Chase versus T. Higgins, and then Michael Pittman versus Jonathan Taylor Thomas, right? So this could easily be the biggest blowout of the week just based off of both like COVID / injuries and those 2 same team poaches.
It's where the ball goes.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see because Jonathan Taylor Thomas is playing New England. Bill
Yep.
Belichick is notorious for taking away the number one threat for a team. So I'm really curious to see if the number one player in fantasy can defeat the number one coach against the number ones. So that'll be fun to see. Because that'll favor Pittman on paper. But
right, exactly.
I'm going Scott here because Stu's team is really struggling.
Scott definitely earned his spot. I mean, he scraped and clawed his way back into it all the way from 8th to 4th. We talked about. Yeah, Stu's team is definitely reeling, but it's also is the team that put up over 200 points this season. So I think this might be closer than the Bushes project. I think some moves need to be made by these teams. I mean, just looking at both their defenses, they're in terrible matchups. So I wouldn't be surprised if both these defenses are not what we see come Sunday. I also am going to take Scott, though. I mean, he's been on quite the tear. I mean, I played him as recently as 2 weeks ago, and literally like every single person on his team fucking went off. Murray versus Detroit is insane, too, right? Although, I mean, I guess he and Connor could also fall under the Hopkins mindset where maybe they take the pedal off the gas because they have it in the hand, bag, the hand and the bag. Kittle's been going off also. Yeah, I mean, Scott's team is just fucking insane.
Scott got the Kittle that I drafted last.
Funny how we were lamenting that Evan got Swift in that trade, but Swift's now missed a few games, and Evans has been putting up double-digit production for Scott.
Yeah,
It would be.
Evan's been losing. Scott's been winning.
How great would it be if we saw those two guys in the finals? A little rematch of the 2012. I'd like to thank the haters bowl.
I think that they both would love to have that rematch.
Yeah. I'm taking Scott, but I would not be surprised if Stu's team wins this. He's got big boom potential from basically everybody on that squad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. They're in the playoffs for a reason. They're every single one of these teams can just hit a bomb. It's just whether or not they do.
Right.
And talking about Evan's team, actually, he's suffering right now too. He's very stoked to have a first round bye because he's gone back-to-back weeks with sub 100 performances.
That's right. Thankfully, my win against him last week made it so I would not go 0-6 in rivalry weeks. So thank you, Evan.
Were you my nemesis this year? My rival? Gosh, I would say that's the downside of randomizing rivals is that I don't remember who my rivals are.
I feel like no. I think mine were Bill, Scott, Evan, unless.
Nope. I beat that ass.
It was us? Okay, so Bill was my game just before then. Yeah, a lot of people beat this ass, okay? Some people multiple times. Actually, you're one of those who beat multiple times.
All right. And now it's time for the matchup of the week.
Nah.
This one's going to be fun. Unfortunately, there's injury implications here as well, both on the Chargers, both in the Thursday night game. They didn't have practice Monday, but Austin Eckler and Mike Williams both listed as did not practice for the fake practice. Those are huge things. And I think it's more of a problem for O'Malley than it is for
Definitely.
Because Prison Mike has been sus at times. And the double tight end strategy has been very effective for Stones this season.
Gronk, the fucking like 15th round pick,
Oh man,
that just been insane.
Gronk, Knox, the free agent pickup, smart. Hawkencock, somehow great, yet doesn't really feel great. It just describes the tight end landscape for you. But yeah, I like O'Malley's team better, but I'm choosing Team Smuggy.
Wow.
If Eckler is out, I think that O'Malley's in some serious trouble. I don't understand the Urban Meyer, James Robinson clash that's happening. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Jalen Waddle has been awesome for O'Malley. It's been like one of the saving graces of his team. Odell getting COVID really sucks heading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Patterson is arguably the best waiver wire pickup of the season. So, I mean, that's how you don't lose championships. You don't win championships on draft day. It's through a whole season of managing, and Cordarrelle Patterson is a great example of that. So I'm going for Smuggy. Though, I'm going to put it out in the ether. I'm cheering for the underdog. I think Smuggy's going to win, but I would like to see O'Malley continue his recent wave of success. That's all. The Smuggy is burned too bright for me. I'm off the train.
Yeah, it's goddamn. Just being with him this last week, I'll be like looking at my team and like, Brad, what do you think as he comes over and he starts talking about his team, like completely unrelated to what I was talking about? God damn it.
Like me this whole podcast. Oh no.
I'm taking O'Malley. Not because I think he's the clear-cut winner, but because for weeks I've been saying hashtag hot take, first round exit for Smuggy and the Smuggernauts. Yeah, Brad's team has been freaking booming, but it has shown some weaknesses this year. I mean, he has 5 losses, right? So I'm thinking O'Malley basically because I think Eckler is going to play. Yahoo has a little blurb that says he should be fine. Claypool hopefully had a little humble pie after his antics last Thursday. Waddle is playing the Jets. They're fucking terrible. Actually, may go to that game, which would be fun, potentially, as I'm hearing like YOLO, basically.
That would be dope. Probably cheap tickets too versus the Jets.
I mean, I don't know if it'll be cheap. Maybe cheaper than like seeing the Chiefs, yeah, or the Bucks or something. I mean, Jags are playing Houston, so like that's a great spot for James Robinson to get out of this funk. Also, like Urban Meyer's job is in jeopardy, so maybe he like sees the error of his ways. I don't know. Now I kind of feel like I'm making up reasons for O'Malley to win, but I'm going with O'Malley.
Nice. Should we place a bet, perhaps?
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
What do you want to bet?
Obviously, a shot.
Okay.
Duh.
Let's see. When is this going to be done with? We have Sunday up. We got Monday night, Vikings in Chicago. So, and some Thursday night action. O'Malley's got Mahomes and Eckler slated, where Brad's got Prison Mike, but he's injured. So, we'll have to wait till after Monday night's game to see if it's in the bag, unless J.E. just goes to a crazy lead, and then that would be sad for O'Malley if that was the case.
Can you imagine O'Malley going into Monday night with like a 15-point lead with Justin Jefferson playing Monday night?
Things that dreams are made of.
That is like, oh, you love fantasy and hate it for that exact reason. Holy Toledo.
It'd be nuts for Brad to have a Monday night win over Pebs and then a Monday night win over O'Malley back to back. Just his like ending seasons as he goes along.
Walk off after walk off.
I would be down for either of these guys to win it all because neither of them have won before. And I want to see a new champion. So, Bill, get out of here. Stu, get out of here. Let's get a new champion.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, wow, that's so fun. What a great session. I think I'm gonna win my bye, so that's nice.
Good luck. That'll be a nail biter, I'm sure, for you.
I'm already questioning my roster decisions. I set my lineup. I was like, ooh, Ramondre, I don't know. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Are you looking 2 weeks ahead? Are you looking 2 weeks ahead in your potential acquisitions?
Yeah, that would be the smart move, but
Nah, your sales are deflated, windless, lackluster.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I do wish that I was able to be in over like Stu, because I think my team is a little bit healthier than his, a little bit. So like basically I'm okay with where I'm at on the outside looking in, because I do want like good matchups. I don't want like a team to put up 88 points like mine.
Right.
Right. So I'm hoping for some big guns from this 7-7 squad to take out the Smuggernauts. But one thing that I forgot to mention, college nationals for Ultimate Frisbee this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if all goes according to plan, I will not be watching football because I'll be watching Caitlin play in the semifinals. The Skirts are seeded third at nationals, which is incredible. And yeah, I'm really juiced to watch them play.
Yeah, let's go Skirts. That's sick.
Yeah, go Skirts. I'm gonna cheer on our homies from Slowcore as well.
Are your parents driving the big boy to the fields?
No, we couldn't find any like reasonable camping because we're gonna full-blown caravan, like 3 or 4 different vans, and just roll up redneck style and glamping, have football playing, look over here, we're watching Frisbee, over here we're watching the Chiefs play. Yeah. So we'll see, but we have a giant Airbnb because we have a newborn that's coming as well, baby Kaya.
Oh shit. Wow. It's a whole family affair.
It's Caitlin's last college nationals, you gotta go big, so that's fun. I don't know, just wanted to mention that because it's kind of
that's iconic. Let's hope we have some happy news to report next week.
I know, yeah. And if they make it to it's Friday through Monday, so I'm playing hooky if they make it to the championship game.
Oh hell yeah.
We'll see. All right. That's enough from us, huh? Have a great time in Miami. I can't wait to hear the next life update from you.
Yes, this time next week I'll be at my mom's place in Central Florida.
Do you think that store is better or worse?
The Pastor in Central Florida? I'll have to see. My guess worse, but I'll try it first.
All right, man. Happy days. Good luck to all the competitors. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bienvenido. Bienvenido al People's Pod. Semana 15. They're trying to prove something.